There's a quiet shift that occurs in a man's life when he stops trying to be seen and starts trying to be solid. He no longer lives to impress. He no longer speaks to prove. He no longer seeks attention, because he understands that attention without foundation is empty. Instead, he focuses on himself. Not out of arrogance, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Because he has learned a principle that never fails. When you do the work in silence, your results will make the loudest statement of all. We live in a world obsessed with noise. Everyone wants to be noticed. Everyone wants to be heard. But the men who go far, the men who rise above the noise, are not the ones constantly posting, talking, or performing. They're the ones building quietly, consistently, with no need for applause. They are focused not on showcasing success, but on becoming someone who can sustain it. Because they know the truth, success is not something you chase. Success is something you attract by becoming the kind of man who deserves it. And that kind of man does not need to explain himself. He doesn't need to justify his process. He doesn't need to defend his silence. Because when the results come, and they will come, they will speak for him. You see, success has a voice, and that voice is undeniable. It's heard in how you carry yourself. It's seen in what you've built. It's felt in the quality of your character, your habits, your consistency. But none of that appears overnight. It is built in the shadows, through repetition, through solitude, through choosing discipline while others drift. So, stop asking the world to understand your journey. Stop explaining your pace. Stop broadcasting every step. Focus inward. Create structure. Protect your energy. Refine your craft. Sharpen your routine. Because the most dangerous man in the room is not the one making noise, it's the one so focused he doesn't need to speak. He knows where he's going. He knows what he's building. And when the time is right, the world will know too. Not because he told them, but because success will speak on his behalf. The man who focuses on himself is not waiting for the world to cheer him on. He doesn't measure his worth by attention. He doesn't crave recognition. Why? Because he understands that the real work happens long before the reward is visible. He is not addicted to progress updates. He is addicted to progress itself. And that kind of focus makes him rare. Look around. Most men want success, but they also want to be seen working for it. They want to look disciplined. They want to sound productive. But the ones who truly build something remarkable aren't spending their energy being valuable. They're too busy becoming valuable. And that value is cultivated behind closed doors. It's in the early mornings when no one's awake. It's in the extra reps when no one is counting. It's in the quiet decision to stay consistent when motivation disappears. That's where success is formed, not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. Because the spotlight is not the goal, the foundation is. And a strong foundation is built through solitude, through effort, through relentless self-respect. You keep going not because someone is watching, but because you're watching. You don't skip steps, not because someone will notice, but because you would know. And the man you're becoming doesn't tolerate that. You see, true focus makes you private. It makes you unavailable to anything that pulls you off course. You no longer need to comment, to prove, to compete. You are too busy constructing a life that works, not a life that just looks good from the outside. And when your focus becomes internal, everything begins to change. Your habits tighten. Your circle sharpens. Your speech becomes deliberate. Your time becomes protected. You stop wasting hours on things that don't grow you. You stop leaking energy on arguments that don't matter. You stop rushing to tell people your plans because you know what matters most is execution. And execution doesn't need an announcement. It needs intention. It needs structure. It needs consistency. That's why you don't hear about the work, you see it in the results. Quiet results, lasting results, results that speak louder than any caption ever could. Because when a man truly locks in, his silence is not emptiness, it's concentration. And that concentration is what sets him apart. While others are distracted, he is disciplined. While others are watching, he is working. While others are talking, he is transforming. And when the world finally sees what he's built, when the results begin to show, it's not a surprise. It's simply the natural outcome of quiet, consistent focus. So, choose that path. Not because it's easier, but because it's stronger. Because the man who focuses on himself and lets his success speak, that man builds a life no noise can shake. Every man is building something, whether he knows it or not. With every action, every decision, every morning routine, he is laying bricks, bricks that either build the foundation of a strong future or a fragile illusion. And the difference between the two? Focus. Because without focus, your energy is scattered. You're pulled in every direction, trying to be seen, trying to prove something, trying to keep up. But with focus, the kind of focus born in silence, you stop drifting. You begin to build on purpose. And as you build, something remarkable happens. You begin to change. Not just externally, internally. You become more precise, more patient, more clear. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself. You don't rush to prove how hard you're working. You don't overshare your goals with people who don't understand them. Because now, you understand yourself. You've created a system, a rhythm, a personal standard that doesn't rise and fall with your emotions. And that system is what creates sustainable results. Not flash, not hype, but stability, built quietly, refined daily. While others are focused on attention, you are focused on alignment. While they chase likes, you chase leverage. While they seek approval, you seek advancement. And that difference in approach, it changes the outcome entirely. Because what you build in silence cannot be stolen by noise. It is rooted, it is stable, it is earned. And the man who earns it does not fear the spotlight. He simply no longer needs it. You see, real confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't demand to be noticed. It walks into a room and changes the atmosphere, not with volume, but with presence. And presence is the byproduct of a man who has done the work day after day when no one was clapping. So if you want to feel respected, stop asking for it. Build something worthy of it. If you want peace, stop broadcasting your plans. Build a life that protects it. If you want power, stop trying to be loud. Build habits that make you undeniable, even in silence. Because here's the truth. Success is not always visible in the beginning. It's quiet, it's unglamorous, it's lonely, but it's real. And the man who respects that process will eventually arrive at a place where the world begins to take notice. Not because he demanded it, but because he became impossible to ignore. So, focus on yourself. Stay committed, stay consistent, stay quiet. And let the success you're building in private speak louder than anything you could ever say in public. A man's greatest breakthroughs do not happen in front of an audience. They happen when no one is watching, when he decides, in solitude, that he's no longer willing to live beneath his potential, when he locks in, not for attention, but for alignment, when he stops chasing recognition and starts chasing refinement. That kind of decision does not echo through social media. It echoes through results. Because when you focus on yourself and let success make the noise, you enter a different league, a league of men who are too busy building to explain, too grounded to perform, too dialed in to be distracted. That's the level where everything changes. Your days become intentional. Your energy becomes sharp. Your standards begin to eliminate anything that isn't excellent. And from the outside, people may wonder where you went, why you're quieter, why you're no longer posting every step of the journey. But what they don't see is what matters most. You're working. You're upgrading your foundation. You're preparing for a level of success that doesn't need introduction, because when it arrives, it commands presence. Let others be addicted to attention. You stay addicted to consistency. Let others fight to be heard. You fight to stay focused. Because noise doesn't build empires, execution does. And execution is quiet. It's the extra set at the gym when no one's looking. It's the early morning reading when everyone's asleep. It's the decision to stay in and work while the crowd is out celebrating. It's the thousands of moments that earn you the right to let your results speak. And when those results begin to speak, they don't whisper, they roar. They say, "This man didn't skip steps." They say, "This man put in the time." They say, "This man is real." And that's the reward of staying quiet while building. Not just better results, but a better you. A man who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. A man who isn't shaken by opinions. A man who is too deep into his mission to be moved by distraction. Because here's the truth. If your process isn't real, your success won't last. But if your process is real, if your effort is honest, the routine is solid, your habits are sharp, then your success becomes inevitable. Not overnight, not in bursts, but in time. So protect your process, defend your mornings, honor your discipline. And let the ones who doubted you hear your answer when the results arrive. The moment a man stops needing to be seen, he becomes powerful. Not because he hides, but because he's finally building something that speaks for itself. He's no longer interested in applause. He's interested in alignment, in integrity, in earning what he once tried to impress others into giving him. Because true success is never something you perform for. It is something you become. And becoming is quiet. You stop arguing with people who don't understand your path. You stop announcing goals you haven't achieved yet. You stop sharing visions with people who haven't earned the right to hear them. Instead, you channel that energy inward, into systems, into structure, into work. Because the man you're becoming doesn't need permission. He just needs momentum. And momentum comes from simplicity. From eliminating what doesn't matter so you can master what does. You don't need more opinions, you need more consistency. You don't need to be everywhere, you need to be precise where it counts. And you don't need the world to believe in you. You need to become the kind of man who believes in himself, because his behavior has earned his own respect. That's what quiet focus gives you. Certainty, not the loud manufactured kind, but the quiet, calm kind that walks into every room knowing, I don't need to speak because my results are speaking already. This is why you must remain focused, not just on what you're doing, but on who you're becoming while you do it. The stronger that identity becomes, the less you'll need to explain yourself. The less you'll seek validation, the less you'll need to prove anything. And one day you'll look around and realize something incredible. The work you did in silence, it built the life everyone else is now asking you about. They'll want the blueprint. They'll want the steps. They'll want the mindset. And all you'll say is this: I stopped trying to impress. I started focusing on myself. And I let the results do the talking. Because you don't rise by being louder. You rise by becoming undeniable. And that starts with focus, with silence, with work. The kind of work most won't see until it's too late to catch up. And now we arrive at the final truth, the one few ever grasp and even fewer are disciplined enough to live. When you stop announcing your growth and start becoming consistent in your silence, the world eventually makes room for what you've built. That is the reward for focus. Not applause, not instant recognition, but alignment, and with it, the kind of success that last. Because here's what's true. Anything gained through noise must be maintained through noise. But what you build quietly through sweat, structure, solitude, and self-respect lasts. It lasts because it's not for show. It's real. You've lived every line of it. You've sacrificed for it. You've earned it, not in front of an audience, but in the early mornings, the late nights, the moments of repetition when no one was watching. And when the time is right, when the foundation is solid, and the man behind the success is ready, the results begin to speak. And when they do, they don't whisper. They say, "This man didn't skip steps. This man didn't pretend. This man built something worth respecting." That is the quiet power of discipline. That is the result of choosing to focus inward, of staying unavailable to gossip, drama, comparison, and distraction, of pouring your energy into what matters most, your mind, your habits, your craft, your future. Let others chase attention. You chase excellence. Let others broadcast noise. You broadcast results. And remember, the men who are most respected didn't demand it, they became it through what they built, through how they moved, through how they carried themselves when no one believed in them yet. So hold your vision, hold your routine, hold your standard, not for recognition, for reputation. Not the reputation you have with the world, but the one you have with yourself. Because when you become the kind of man who respects his own work, his own structure, his own word, success can't help but follow. And when it does, let it speak. You won't need to.